A Song to the Tune of Love by It's_Kingston on AO3. Episode 6, Chapter 3, Chorus. Oh, hey, Twice got out of the hospital this week, right? How is he? Oh, yeah, he did. Toga squealed. We got him balloons and a cake and had a little party. It was so fun. He likes the new place too. He doesn't have anything in there yet because he was only let out yesterday, but we made sure to stock his closet with a suit and his favorite mask. And his apron too. That's sweet. I'm glad he's back home. You seem really happy. Did he have a decorated room back at your old base? Uraraka asked. While just a tad curious, she mostly just wanted to keep Toga talking. She liked listening to her excited rambles about anything and everything. A little bit. Our old rooms were really small, just enough for a bed and a little box for clothes and stuff, like closet rooms. Oh, really? You must be liking the upgrades then. Yeah, I'll try and remember to take pictures and show you next Friday. I've got all my knives hung up so I could see them. Plus, there's some extra room for more. And all my clothes are in a little closet, and there's a mirror so I can make sure I'm extra cute before coming out to hang out with you. Must not be difficult, Uraraka replied. Toga giggled. It's very hard work. Do you want to try again? She pointed to the knife. Nah, I'll leave it to the professional. She passed the knife back, watching Toga slide it into its slit without a glance. Why do you carry it around if it's messed up? It's the only one that the whole league gave me for my first birthday with them. I turned 14 that year. Toga moved to sit shoulder to shoulder with her. I've been around for over 3 years. You're only 17? I thought you were older, honestly. Uraraka said, eyes wide. That's not nice, Toga said. She narrowed her eyes and poked Uraraka in the cheek. Wait, did you turn 17 this year? Or is it your 18th coming up? I turned 17 in August. Huh, you're only a few months older than me. I'd be 17 this December. Uraraka said. December, Toga hummed. What day? I want to celebrate. She clasped her hands together. The 27th, Uraraka answered. Your turn. What day was your birthday? August 7th, she replied. We started hanging out the week after your birthday? Late birthday present? Toga said, earning a laugh from Uraraka. Could have told me. I could have gotten you something. You didn't like me very much then. I could tell. You probably would have only gotten me something to be polite, not 'cause you wanted to. Toga complained. True. I was being cautious. I didn't want to end up getting burned trying to be nice. And I was a little scared of you. Mainly nervous to have you around. It's silly now that we're friends. Toga cut her off. We're friends now. She laughed, leaning her head on Uraraka's shoulder. Yeah, that surprises you? Uraraka said. It took her a moment to find the words through the sudden warmth. Last Friday you told me about your bad dream and all that, and said it was nice 'cause you couldn't talk to your friends like that. But you were telling me. I didn't say anything though 'cause you seemed a little happier and I didn't want to ruin it. Toga said. I meant my friends from UA. We're friends, as long as you want to be. Uraraka said. That works for now. Toga smiled brightly. For now? For now? All right. Uraraka laughed, just a bit confused. Not sure what that's supposed to mean, though. One of those things that'll make you leave. Toga sighed. Uraraka thought these moments rare, seemingly solely from talking of things that'll make her leave, whatever that meant. Well, what it meant was obvious. What it entailed was less so. Gotcha, Uraraka replied, nodding along as if she understood. When are you gonna tell me these things that'll make me leave? She tossed up in the air quotations around Toga's words. I do, Toga replied confidently. Every Friday. I meant, when am I allowed to know them? Uraraka said with a roll of her eyes. Maybe someday, Toga murmured. She flicked her wrist, flipping the knife a few times above her hand, and caught it. I'd like to tell you one day, just a day when I'm sure you won't leave. People have left before, said they wouldn't, and they did. Shiki, Dabi, Jin, Spinner, Compress, and Magne, and Kiri didn't leave, though. She smiled again, fangs poking out just a bit. Well, that's good, Uraraka said. Glad they didn't leave. Me too. They sat in silence after that, looking at the stars, and did nothing at all. Uraraka considered what was all going through Toga's head. About the people who left her, and whether that still hurt. About the stuff she couldn't say, and why she was so worried about it. About meeting the League and their shared meal if they accepted it. The last was probably the most pressing issue, being the only event Uraraka somewhat had control over. She could choose to go, choose to stick as close to Toga as possible. Both were incredibly likely, much more so than getting results from asking Toga about the other two worries of hers. Uraraka jolted when her phone chimed. A glance down at it revealed it was Ashiro, letting her know it was 9 a.m. was approaching. She could keep track of time on her own, but didn't discourage the reminders, especially not after last week's mishap. Uraraka pulled her earbuds from her pocket and turned on the music, just like every week. Playlist selected, volume cranked up, Toga leaned happily against her. The same comforting cycle, their normal routine. Until it wasn't. The music cut out, and Uraraka furrowed her brows. You're just so adorable. I bet you look even cuter bleeding. Uraraka swallowed. Didn't know if she should interrupt or let Toga finish talking. Was she even supposed to tell her that her phone died? That she heard it all? Or at least most of it? When we fought in that woods that time, and I cut you a little, you were so pretty. Oh, and my quirk awakening. I got to use yours, 'cause I drank that little bit of blood I got from you. I never told you that. I didn't know that your quirk activated whenever you touched something. I just really hoped it would work, and it did. Should she cut her off now? That seemed to be the end of that thought. Yeah, she'll say something. Toga groaned, leaned against Uraraka harder, all her weight on her shoulder in a therapeutic display. Want more. It was so good. Even if I can't use your quirk again, I want to try though. And then I could ask you how to use it well, 'cause it made me kind of sick to my stomach last time. And oh, I thought about it, and your quirk is kinda out of this world. Get it? Because the moon has low gravity. Dobby doesn't like my puns. But back to the main thing. I can't just ask you for your blood. You'd get mad, or sad, or scared again. And you like me right now. I hope you do, at least. Toga whined. Uraraka cleared her throat. I do. Toga sat forward, stared at her for a long moment. Sorry, Uraraka exclaimed. My phone died and I was gonna let you know, but you were talking and I just ended up listening. Sorry, again. She paused. But for the record, I do really like you. Toga laughed whirly, scooting back over to her half of the bench. How long were you listening? Few minutes. Since, the part where you said I was adorable? Uraraka brushed. Sorry, this is awkward. Yeah, just a little. Toga huffed. You're not mad, right? No, not really, just kinda caught me in a tough spot here. Toga tried to give a smile, but Uraraka could see her lip quiver. It delved into silence, the air thick and colder than October winds that whipped through the trees. Uraraka started. She shrugged off her jacket and rolled up her sleeve of her t-shirt. There was a light scar across her shoulder, long since healed. Last time, in the forest, you had that syringe thing? that's where it hit, and I don't know if that's because it was the only spot you could hit, or if you wanted to hit my shoulder, and I don't think you have that right now. I'm talking too much. She laughed nervously. However, you can do it now. You could take some of my blood, I mean. Toga turned her head to the side, then straightened back out, looking around. You okay? You're not messing with me, right? Toga asked, so spectable and almost hurt. Uraraka wondered just how many bad experiences she'd had. I'm being serious, Uraraka said. She took Toga's hand. Really, I don't mind. No syringe or anyone else around. I promise this isn't going to get you into some sort of trouble. And you won't hate me? I offered. Uraraka replied. I'm not making you, right? No, not at all. Are you alright? Toga made an unusual noise, smiled. I'm great, she said softly. Her smile was contagious, because sure enough, Uraraka was grinning too. That's good. She kept the same tone. So, how exactly are you going to do this? And where and how much? With something sharp on your shoulder and a full vow, Toga answered. My turn. You scared? Of needles? No, I've got a feeling you don't have one, though. Uraraka said. Nope. You trust me with a knife? Uraraka gritted her teeth. Be honest. I don't want to scare you away. You haven't left yet, and I really feel like I'm pushing my luck here. Toga burst herself opening her hip pouch, taking an empty vial out. Uraraka noted the full ones nearly tucked into the side. Toga noted her gaze. From the rest of the league. Oh, Uraraka nodded. What's the alternative to the knife? Toga smiled, ran her tongue across the top row of teeth. That's what the fangs are for. She laughed lightly. It's one of those. Pick your poison situations, right? Uraraka grimaced. Whichever you want. I don't really like the sound of either. Then why are you letting me have some? Toga asked. It's silly, don't worry about it. No, I really want to know, Toga exclaimed. It just seemed like it would make you happy. And I like it when you're happy. You smile and it's really cute. Uraraka said. Aw. Toga crashed into her side, wrapped Uraraka in a hug. Thank you, she cooed. Yeah. Uraraka smiled, leaning into Toga. I really hate to rush you, but I'm getting cold and I need to be back in the dorm soon, she said after a minute. I know, Toga said. I'm gonna use my teeth, 'cause I want to be really close to you. All right, Uraraka said. She adjusted her position and faced towards Toga. Can I sit in your lap? It wouldn't change anything. I just want to. Uraraka laughed, grateful for the light-hearted comment and the ease it brought. Yeah, go ahead. Toga hummed, got up from the bench, and stood in front of Uraraka, a knee planted on each side of her. Getting comfy, Toga smiled, lifted a hand. You consider this shoulder too, right? She asked, hand resting on the juxtation between Uraraka's shoulder and neck. Yeah, close enough, she murmured. Yay! Toga giggled, leaned down. She pressed a kiss to the spot her hand had been, and the warmth must have been traveled from that spot to her brain, because the gesture left Uraraka dazed and maybe a little dizzy. So much so that she hardly paid the needle-like feeling of teeth any mind. Good thing she wasn't afraid of needles. She felt Toga linger for a minute before pulling back, flipping the lid of the vial and holding it beneath the puncture spot, humming all the while. You taste really good. Kind of like pomegranate, I think. That's interesting, Uraraka noted. Toga giggled. That's my favorite fruit, too. Oh, really? I just like apples. They're nice. They're okay. I like the shiny red ones, Toga said as she pulled the vial away and shut the lid. It'll bruise a little, she informed Uraraka as she pulled an aseptic wipe from her pocket. She opened it up, dabbed the wound. Not bleeding bad either. Oh, thanks, Uraraka said softly, a smile to match. Wasn't expecting you to patch me up, too. It'll get infected otherwise. That's no good. She stuck her tongue out a bit as she pulled a band-aid over it. Uraraka laughed as she watched Toga, feeling warm and cared about. Remember what I said about the bruise? Don't be surprised if it hurt tomorrow. Uraraka leaned forward, put her arms around Toga, and rested her chin on the latter's shoulder. I know, I've taken worse tumbles, though. I can deal with a little bite. Yeah? Like what? Toga asked, combing her fingers through Uraraka's hair. When I was 5 and still could hardly use my quirk, I thought I could just jump from one of my dad's ladders and make myself float. I hit the ground pretty hard, landed right on my side. Uraraka groaned. It hurt for months. The bruise was there for like 2 months, and the doctor said it was a miracle that I didn't break a rib. Toga laughed. You jumped from the top rung? No, like maybe 5 feet off the ground? I was really light and young, though. That was probably my only saving grace. What a daredevil, Toga teased. The biggest fall I ever took was probably when I was 13. I was climbing out my window on the second story of my parents' house, and my foot caught on the windowsill. I landed on my back and had to lay there for a minute. Knocked the wind out of ya? Toga bustled out laughing. That was good. I didn't even think about that one. You heard my pun earlier, right? About your quirk? Yeah, Uraraka said. You aren't the first one to make that joke, though. I thought so. Toga pouted. I'll think of a new one. A better one. I look forward to it. Just know all the space jokes are already exhausted. Ground control needs to radio them back in. Ground control needs to radio them back in? Toga asked. Uraraka sighed. Yep. Come on, that was hilarious. It was pretty funny. Uraraka yawned. Do you have the time? Yeah, Toga said. She pulled her phone from her pocket, flipped it open. That thing looks ancient. She chuckled as she leaned back onto the bench, letting go of Toga. It's more durable. My first phone fell out of my pocket while I was running across rooftops and hit someone in the head. I had to drop down and get it back. All the little broken pieces, too. Jeez, Uraraka said. Oh, and it's 9:20 now. I kinda kept you later. Damn it. Uraraka sighed, stretched the syllables. I don't think Aizawa-sensei will care that I'm a tiny bit late, but Mina's gonna have a field day with this one. Toga chuckled. Sorry. It was time well spent. Uraraka said. I just hope she isn't calling Nezu because I stopped answering. Oh, the rat guy. He gets upset when people call him that. He says he's more of a mouse. All right, I'll remember that next time I see him. She smiles. Okay, I gotta go now. Uraraka insisted. Fine. Toga crossed her arms, moved out of Uraraka's lap. Friday? Of course. See you Friday. Uraraka smiled. Toga returned it. See you Friday. Interesting. Also, this one, I know, was a lot fucking longer. I can explain. I couldn't find a good cutoff. That's my explanation. I couldn't find a good cutoff. I really couldn't, I promise. I tried to find a good cutoff, but I couldn't find a good cutoff. I just couldn't. So there is no cutoff. Because technically speaking, I could have broken this down into 2. And I think we're starting to get to the point where like each chapter is no longer gonna be 2. Each chapter is gonna be like 3 to 4. So yeah, probably. Yeah. All right. So Ashiro is definitely gonna. Yeah, Mina's definitely gonna have a field day, especially with like the band-aid and the whole it's gonna bruise. My dude, that's gonna look like a fucking hickey. I mean, it's literally a bite mark. That's... Yeah, no, Mina's gonna have a field day. I know I would. If my friend showed up like that. I'd have a fucking field day, especially after going on and on about how she's just going to see a friend. Like, okay, all right, then what's that? Explain that. Okay, chapter 4 is called Verse 1. Okay, yeah, I knew it. It was gonna be, you know, stuff like that. No wonder it's only 8 chapters. Oh my god, I love it. I love it. I love it. There is no explanation for that, so I'm just gonna scroll down and I'm gonna read a random thing. Uraraka joined in at the absurdity of the statement. Once the moment passed, she grabbed her phone, texted Ashido. I'm gonna make sure it's okay if we drop by. Huh, I wonder. Also, ignore the children screaming in the background. They've been screaming all day. I've been trying to record. Or not all day, but for like the past hour and a half. I promise you they're fine. They're not killing each other, I think. I'm joking. I know they're not killing each other. They're playing. But, no, yeah, this chapter was a little longer. I don't have much notes other than, okay, 1, Toga feeling super scared that Uraraka's gonna leave. Attachment issues. That stems from her trauma, that stems from attachment issues. I don't know if she has the same background that, Toga from what's it called? From Villainous? Or if it's like a different background, but either way, it seems to be stemming from attachment issues, right? Abandonment issues that formed attachment issues, right? She has been abandoned in the past, therefore she gets attached. And because she's getting attached, she's doing everything in her possible, hand to not, For a second, I thought it was going to be a bunch of angst. For a second, I'm like, no, Uraraka's going to get scared off. She's going to run off. But no, it was actually really fluffy and light. Thank God. I know you mentioned the fact that you just write fluff now, and I know this is one of your, more recent ones. And by more recent ones, I mean you literally completed it this month. Yeah, I think you did complete it this month. Was it this month? Yeah, it's 2024. Yeah, you completed it this month, right? So, I know you probably, it's probably just fluff. But, I was scared for, a tad second. I'm gonna be honest with you. I got deja vu. I was like, oh, no. But, no, everything's fluffy, and we like fluffy. I like angst, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you need a little bit of fluff. And if this has a little bit of angst, so what? It's mostly fluff. I don't care. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Links to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.